Set it down. Thanks, Cheryl. Good morning, everyone. We are delighted to be here, and I must say, remembering that 7-minute talk we gave, we have now taken that 7 minutes and stretched it out. So this is much more leisurely today. I can't tell you how surprised we were to have so many folks be interested in how we've done this. And so I've got a great team here with me today. I'm going to quickly introduce them, the speakers of the group. We've got extra people, and we'll all meet the team. But Pearl Imada-Iboshi, Pearl Wave. Pearl is the director of our Institutional Research and Analysis Office, fundamental to this effort. Tara Yamashige is our communications specialist, actually with our statewide P20, but it's centered in my office. And then Joanne Tano, who is the Associate Vice President for Academic Affairs. So you'll meet we got a state liaison, we've got our fundraiser, we've got another media specialist with us so that our team looks like your team, because we really wanted to benefit further from this experience. So with that, let me start with the context of our effort. You know that Hawaii is an island state. Our campuses and our ed centers are located on 6 major islands. We have one state single public higher education system, okay? Our head count is just over 60,000. We have one research doctoral campus, that's UH Manoa at about 20,000. We have 2 baccalaureate campuses, UH Hilo at about 4,000, UH West Oahu at about 2,000, that's a brand new campus. And then we have 7 community colleges, which are actually almost 34,000 of that 60,000. And then we have ed centers throughout the state, a lot of courses delivered by distance to the islands where we don't have campuses. They are primarily commuter campuses. Both Manoa and Hilo have a number of beds, but in no case is it even more than a third of the students that could be housed. In Hawaii and in our higher education system, there is no single racial or ethnic majority. So what that means is it's a very diverse state, very diverse educational system, but every campus is Native Hawaiian serving, which means at least 10%, and in fact, in our case, a Native Hawaiians, the indigenous population of the islands, 14% at Manoa and as high as 44% at Windward Community College, and 23% over the state. For the first time in our history, we have more Native Hawaiians in college represented as a share than in the population. So we're really proud of that, because that's been part of the goal with this graduation initiative as well. Our P20 goal for completion was actually set in 2008 by our P20 Council, which is very active in the state. And they set that goal at 55% of the working age population having a 2 or 4 year degree by 2025. You know, at the time, and even now, it sounds modest, but it is, and I'm probably not telling you anything you don't know, it is so hard to move that needle on the population. Here's our challenge. We are now at 43%, and you can, well, actually, it goes 43, 42, 43, which is very disheartening. We have a real in-migration, out-migration issue. In Hawaii, we lose a lot of our educated citizens. But what you can see is if we continued on the trend that we're on, which was this dotted line, when we looked at that, and we have increased the number of graduates since 2008 by 20%. We were proud of ourselves. We were doing quite well. We are, but we're still going to have this gap, over 60,000 degree holder gap if we continue on the trend we're at. So that gap is significant, and here is our problem. I know you're all familiar with this. This is Complete College America data, and this is the public, every 100 students entering a public college or university in the state of Hawaii. What happens, about 67 go to the community colleges, 32 to the publics. What you see here is the full-time, part-time split. Virtually no part-timers at the 4 years, but when you look, and this is just what Stan was talking about, they enroll, let's just take the full time, they enroll, 40 enroll, 27 come back as sophomores, 1 graduates on time, 4 in another year, 2 in double the time, for 7 total, and then 7 full time. If you go part time, we'll get 2 by the end of 4 years for a total of 9. Then you go over and you think, oh, we don't have as great a problem in the public colleges, that 32 who started full-time, 26 returned, 5 will graduate on time. We had a brand new chancellor come, and he looked at this data and he just was astounded. He could not believe we have such a low 4-year graduation rate, and that is all about the culture of credit taking. 11 in the 150% time, 2 more at 200% for 18 in 8 years. Now, this is not that unusual for a state. I mean, it's awful, but there are states that are equally as bad. So we, you know, you understand, I know. So this is what we have to tell our legislators. There are states that are equally as bad. Here is one of the issues that we have really stressed, and Stan mentioned this as well, and it's retention. These numbers don't actually look that bad when you think, oh my goodness, look at Manoa, and the trends are right. They're going up. This is fall to fall, 10 to 11 fall, 11 to 12. Look at, they went up, they went up, they went up, they went up. But then look at it another way. Of all the students who walked into Manoa, 20% left between the first and second year. 30% left in Hilo, 35% left in West Oahu, and 45% left in the community colleges. If we could keep those students, that would be a huge boost to that 60,000 degree holders. So retention continues to be an issue. We have to focus on that. Too many students come through our doors and walk out without a degree. Our growth rate is pretty good. Here you can see the annual growth rate of the degrees we've awarded. So as I told you, we started in 2008, so our base data is 2007 to 2012, and our annual rate, we increased 13% in certificates, 4.7 in graduate certificates over there. We're not as concerned with these unless they're industry relevant. We don't have that many industry relevant certificates, so we have really concentrated on the associate and the baccalaureate. That associate degree, 5% annual growth, that's pretty respectable. But 2.5 with our bachelor's, that's just not good enough. It's really dry here. Just for those of you who might not know that, it's really dry here. So we're pleased with this, but it's got to be better. Now, one issue that we had not addressed, and that was cost per FTE. We are not funded on a per student basis, but we do calculate cost per FTE. And one of the things that we have really been thinking more about lately, because our Board of Regents is very interested in more efficiency measures, to educate the number of additional students, that 60,000 that I showed you, to do that at our current cost per FTE, we would need to increase state appropriations by more than $500 million by 2020. Or we have to increase tuition revenues by 50 to 80%. Neither of those are going to happen. There's no way the state has the ability or the willingness to put that kind of money, extra money, into higher ed, and we cannot keep upping tuition on our students and their families. So there really only is one thing to do to make a difference here, and that is improve student success. We have got to get more of those students who come to listen to this, our door, through to graduation, to completion. So, as you know, and as Stan went through the strategies, we were, in the beginning with Complete College America, interested in their strategies. Our campuses have adopted the strategies, but we're a system group, the team you have before you today. And so we wanted to look and see what is it we could do that would make a difference for our campuses. And we decided that the best thing we could do was to look at that reduced time to degree, accelerate success using a data-driven approach. And we began looking at our data. We were surprised, and Pearl is going to take you on the next step into our data and what we found.